What's up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach, Tanya, and I am here with now two magnificent guests. Well, one co-host, magnificent co-host, Andy. Yay!
You lost that a wee bit there, didn't you?
I was going to say two magnificent guys and then just kind of
you lost it. Definitely lost it.
And then I've got an amazing guest. You know how I love to finish the deserts just kind of wrapping up with all the stories and the adventures that happen. And of course, there's many stories out there. And one of them that I've told you last episode was about this crazy guy that was in my tent. He was doing his first stage ultra marathon and he looked a little bit like, oh my God, what am I doing? Regretting all his life choices. Well, we have him here with us today. Brad, yay!
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
He's like, I don't want to go back to that place.
It's triggering me already. It's triggering me.
I know. He's like, I don't want to. I'm trying to forget about what happened there. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you. It's good to catch up and good to see you again.
I know.
So are you fully recovered?
Yeah, the excuse is I don't have any more left to not work out anymore. So yeah, I'm fully recovered, back in the gym.
How long it took you to recover? Because if I remember right, when you finished one day, you said, oh man, I am sure I'm not going to move in 6 months. Did it take you 6 months?
No, 6 months is a long time to go without moving. So yeah, I've been running, I've been in the gym, but yeah, I think it took me a good month at least, I think. Because I moved house straight after, so I was pretty tired.
Nice. Oh yeah, he was on the way of buying his first house, if I remember right. And he was like going to the tent to see if the closing went through or not. So when he got the closing, he was actually running Atacama.
So were you not stressed enough?
Yeah, probably the days went super fast because when you're busy and you're trying to survive
but also a lot to think about.
Yeah. I thought, like in my head, I was like, trust me to do two of the biggest things you can do in your life, pretty much in the same week, like completing on the house and the race. So yeah, it was pretty tough.
I think we did exactly the same thing. Yeah. We moved to Dubai 1 week before I started the 5 deserts. Namibia. So yeah, I kind of felt with you in that. I was like, yeah, but you know what? It's the best because you're just distracted and you just want kind of like de-stress because you're going to go back eventually and it's going to be like all stress when you go back.
And it's motivating. It does get exactly. You that day.
In fact, that's actually one of the questions that I was going to ask you. And to Tanya as well, obviously I've just found out that you were moving house as well. How did you cope with the mental prep for something like that? Also knowing that you've got all this going on in the background, because, for example, I'm about to do a 50k ultra. And for me, I know that I've got the legs, I know I've got the engine. For me, I'm trying to get my head around the mental side of it.
It's his first race, Brad.
Yeah, first ultra race, yeah.
You're on the previous episode, you were doing your first one, so yeah.
It's going to be his first marathon and first ultra.
Yeah.
I think he was in the same page as you, Brad.
Yeah. So from a mental prep, how did you do that? We even having the moving house and everything in the background.
Yeah, I was kind of just, one day I was focusing on the house stuff, and then when I was running, I was just running, thinking about what I was doing whilst running. And just having my music, and I'll just switch off from the house stuff. But I have a really wonderful girlfriend who was handling the house stuff whilst I was on the race as well. So, she was massively, massively supportive and that really helped.
Yeah, so it gave you the confidence, I guess, not to be too involved in the house side of things. But what about the run up to it then? The mental prep on the run up to it. Is that something that you had to work on separately, or because again, like for me, already when I'm out there and say that we were out in the mountains at the weekend doing 3 hours, I think it was, and I was a little bit sick. And see, when I came back from it, my mind just went a little bit and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to cope with doing a 50 kilometre? Was there anything like that in your head? Did you think about the pain cave, as they say?
Yeah, I had a couple of really long runs before, and I actually done a trail ultra the month before in February.
Right.
And that was the Essex Way, and that was 42 miles, I think it was. And that really helped me. Like the day after that, I kind of knew what I was getting in for. Then I kind of knew roughly what to expect, and obviously I couldn't even walk the next day. So I was like, just imagine this, but a week long of it. But doing that race really helped.
Sure, what can go wrong, right?
So you think it's good advice to get something big mileage out the way first, so that you can be more confident going into it then?
Yeah, definitely. That was the advice given to me, was do like a race as long as or near enough the longest stage of the stage race, or if it's a 1 day race. But and then, because when everything's hurting and when your head's in that space where you don't want to carry on, and you say you get past that day, you're then thinking, oh, hang on a minute, the race that I am doing, I can carry on, I can do that.
Good advice. I like it.
All right, so let's start with the Atacama chat. So talk to me a little bit, and why this race? Why did you choose this race? Why not? I know you did another one before, but obviously you were doing it in prep for this one. So that was eventually your big goal, and you have never done anything like that previously. So what did attract you to this sort of adventure?
I think it was just the race in the Planet Marketing must be great, because you look on the website and you see all these guys with backpacks, and guys and girls with backpacks, and they're kind of going across these amazing landscapes, and it really looks like an old fashioned adventure, doesn't it? Like you're carrying all this stuff with you, anything can happen, and you're kind of testing yourself against like the environment and yourself. And I think I remember saying to you that I sort of have been following the races for about 10 years and never had the confidence to sign up for one. And then I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just, as cliche as it is, you only live once, is really, really true. And I thought, if I don't do it now, like I've got age on my side, so not that age is a problem, but, we can just, I thought, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
Why not? Yeah, I remember. So let's start from the beginning. So Brad, I'll tell you all the story. He is in my tent, right? So we had like a pre-dinner, before the race at the town, and we just went out, all the buddies that were going to be in the tent, sharing, everything together. And I remember very, very, very clearly that me and Lisa, which we've been doing many of these ones this year, as you all know, we were very tired, very mentally tired at that point. And then we've seen Brad coming in, super excited. He was like, I wish I was enjoying the race like you did, probably.
Nice and fresh.
Nice and fresh. And he was just there. And we're like, why are you so happy? And he's like, well, this is my first race. This is amazing. Like, you're in Chile. Why you shouldn't be? And we're like, is this your first race? Yeah, that's why, probably, because you're going to like not be happy at the end. Well, you are going to be happy, but you don't know. I think it's a blessing when you don't know what you're about to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, you were like just happy and all that. Did that feeling not the happiness, but did that happen? Like at some point you were like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is not fun, or this is a different type of fun.
Yeah, I think that was day one for me.
I expected you to say like day 3, but okay. So what happened day 1?
Well, I think it just, like, although I knew how big this was going to be, like I still underestimated it somehow.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
I think I remember coming back. I think actually I saw you when I got back into camp, and I was like, what the hell was that? And you were just looking at me like, what did you expect? And I think you or Lisa said that to me, and Lisa was like, you've not gone for a walk in the park. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I still didn't really think about that. But I think it was just the whole, the heat of the first day and the terrain, and it was just all at once. And I was like, this is real now. This is, Yeah.
Was it, obviously you were expecting it to be hard, obviously, right? But was it more than you expected then?
Yeah. I mean, far beyond what I expected, but I think in some ways it was what I expected. In some ways, like the mental side that really got tested was probably the biggest thing. My fitness was good going into the race, I think. I felt pretty fit. I didn't feel, I was tired, but I didn't feel like completely finished. But the mental side was the bit where I was tested the most, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things we've spoken in the podcast quite often, I think, since the beginning, because everyone's like, do you think anyone can do it? And this is a chat that we always go back to. I'm like, at the beginning, I'm like, well, before I started I said, I think anyone can do it. Like, if you can walk, you can definitely do it, right? And then finishing Namibia, the first one, I came back and I'm like, no, I don't think anybody can do it. And we ended up thinking, because it was a question that multiple people would say or ask me. So I wanted to have a decent answer. And I think my answer, where I started circling back, is like what you said. I think if you are fit, even basic fitness, and you are quite strong-headed, like really strong mind kind of person, like very stubborn, and you can just really control your mind game, I think you can do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Anyone can get themselves fit and stuff. And I think anyone can have that mindset as well. You just got to I think someone said to me is that you just got to remember why you're doing the race and think about that through as you're going through, because you've got a reason to finish.
And then you obviously started again, you chose a very different race, because obviously an ultra marathon this is a little bit different than a normal ultra marathon. One, you're carrying your things, you're carrying it for 6 days. You have to carry mandatory equipment that you usually do not carry in a single stage, right? And obviously that learning curve of learning what to pack. So I do remember you learned the hard way about what packing. Talk to us about that. I know Lisa helped on that department, but the friendships as well, right? And there's always people there to help you anyways.
That was like one of the funniest moments for me, was like in the race hotel, was Lisa coming into my room. I said about helping pack my bag. She's like, I'm coming into your room to help you. And she stormed in and she was throwing stuff out my bag. She was going, what are you doing? This is too heavy. Like, you haven't decanted this. You haven't put this gel into this bag. And she was throwing stuff on the floor. And I was standing there. I'm like, I've literally known Lisa about 2 days. I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing anyway.
I swear we're friendly.
Yeah. And she was like, oh God, you really are a rookie, aren't you? I was like, yeah, this is my first race. I don't know what I'm doing. And I kept persuading myself that the bag was going to be fine. And I was like, someone will have a heavier bag. And I was just like, not sure if they did. Maybe.
That sounds like Lisa, doesn't it?
That sounds like Lisa as well. But don't be scared, people. I think overall we're very friendly. We'll help out. It's good times, and then just a funny story to tell after.
See, when you were saying about the first day when you came back and you were thinking, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Mm-hmm. What was it that made you feel like that? Was it just the difference in your mind about or what you've seen from the terrain, the exhaustion, or what was it that made you feel like that when you came back that day?
Yeah, I think there was a really specific moment on the first day. I think it was after the third checkpoint, but it was a wide open, flat of ground. And, you're used to going uphill. There's almost uphill as well. But there was just a moment where I looked around me and there was nobody behind me, nobody in front of me. There was like this heat haze coming off the ground. And I was just standing there and I was like, oh, this is real. I was like, I need to carry on. This is so real. And in your head, you can only picture it. You can see it on a video or YouTube or whatever. But when you're standing there feeling it, and you're like, I've got to get myself out of this. And then that's why when I got back, I was like, I'm actually doing this race that I've been thinking about for the last however many years, and now I'm in it, and now I've got to finish it.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a real moment where you can almost catch yourself on and think, "Oh my God!" Yeah, I think we've all been there in some shape or form, haven't we? But
it's just the environment as well. It's just so surreal when you're like, I can't believe I'm in the middle of like a desert, in the middle, like in a place I've never been. Clearly,
I think it's the travel. It's everything you do to get there, isn't it? It's everything that builds up to that moment.
With looking at, I still have freaking 5 days in front of me, and that's even scary or not for some, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously you're telling us your lowest moment, and I remember I'm gonna be jumping topics because I have like hundreds of like memories of you, like so funny. We shared a lot, and it was one of the best tents. I don't want to say in all the 5 days, but I think we did like. We had a really good tent this last tent. I was very lucky to have a really cool tent with the people. Like everyone was super chilled. Sometimes you have rough tents. Sometimes, I'm not saying they're not supportive or not cool. Each one obviously is different, but I think the last one was like one of the coolest tents. Like the vibes, people were amazing. and Brad was one of them. And one of the things that I have here in my head, I also remember I was going through your backpack thing. Obviously, you were packing a lot of food and all that. And I remember that we'll come back to the tent and we will be like telling how many calories would you burn and how many calories you burned, you know? And it was super funny because Brad and I will usually burn the same amount of calories and everyone else was burning half of the calories because they are half our size. Because Brad's very strong, probably same as me, like a very well built, like, you know, muscle, like strong built
for long distance running. But
and then the other ones, you know, they're like a little bit kind of half our size, and I was just laughing at. It was the first time we were comparing. First time in the 5 deserts that we were comparing calories. And for me, it was like super funny that we both were burning the same amount of calories and everyone else was burning half of the calories. I was like, oh, he's my calorie buddy. I was like, you probably were like 9,000? 9,000? Yes, we are 9,000. It was insane. Was your food prep and all that good? Like, were you in that department, let's say fuel, were you well fueled? Did you feel okay?
Leading up to the race, yeah. So I ate plenty of like enough carbs leading up to the race and ate really well. I think during the race, it definitely could have been better, as in less food and less weight in my bag. But and the breakfast as well. I only practiced with the breakfast once, and I thought, oh yeah, this tastes fine. It'll be fine. And then I ended up throwing the breakfasts away pretty much for most days because I actually couldn't stomach them after a long run.
We've had that before, haven't we?
Yeah. The dinners were lovely, and I could have eaten those. I should have just got all of those same dinners because I think I remember saying to you, I was like, I have the same dinner for every single day, and you were like, what?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm quite boring, so my special ability is to just eat the same thing every day without getting bothered by it.
And what about your fueling out on the course? How did you manage that? Because again, everybody's different.
Yeah, I had a few snacks, but I had these the powder mixes that have quite high calories.
Yeah.
I think it was Sticker was the brown brand, like these white and silver sachets, but you put them into water and then mix them, and it's quite a thick consistency.
Yeah.
So that was kind of I did train with that fuel, and I've got on okay with it. I think on reflection, I probably wouldn't use that again because you have to drink all of that water to get all of those calories. Yeah. So, like if you put that into a litre of water, you've got to drink that whole litre just to get the 300-400 calories. Whereas the gels, you can take them straight away and you've got 300 calories in you straight away. So
that's a good tip for the listeners, actually.
Yes,
that is a good tip. Yeah.
Usually the water is just like, let's say, an add-on on the gels. Like always have gels and then just a little bit to just top up, let's say, the gel.
And we hear quite a lot as well that people get to like day 3 and day 4, so say they've taken goos or whatever, and they're absolutely sick of them as well, and they can't take them because they've just had enough of them. How did you go on that?
I mean, I was pretty sick of the drink mixes because they're really really sweet.
Yeah.
And so, I was just forcing them down, especially during the long march, which I'm sure we'll definitely talk about. But I was just any calories. I was just like, I need to just take it and just force.
Just at that point, it's just survival. Just like fighting for your life at that point.
So that is a real mind over matter point there, is it? Where you've got your mind and you're working with food, isn't it? It's like
So obviously, day 1 goes by. You're like in this surreal moment that you're like, oh no, I need to get out of here. And I remember the first day going back to, I think the last 4 kilometers were all the way straight up. And the sun was like, it was in a canyon. It was like the sun beaming on you. It was hard. It was tough. And how did day 2 and 3, I'm not going to say it went better, but did you start getting used to it a little bit? Like, okay, I think I can do this? Or was there a point where you said, I don't know if I can actually do this?
Days 2 and 3, I think were like, it's really weird, like how different they were. So day 2, I walked all of day 2, if you remember.
Oh yeah, because you're not feeling right. Yeah.
My knee was like really hurting from day 1. I thought if I try to run with the same weight bag I have, I won't finish. So I thought, let's change the plan, let's change the strategy, let's just walk today. I ended up being out for, I think it was like 8.5 hours, 9 hours nearly. And again, I got to the camp and I was like, can't do another 9.5 hours. So I thought,
so I need to find like the right balance of fast enough, but
So day 3, I think, was probably my best day because I ran with you in the morning, and I was with you and this other lady, I can't remember her name now, but we was running for ages together. I think we'd done pretty much like a half marathon, but getting that out of the way at the start, my bag was light enough to run with, and I felt really good at the start, but getting that done, I could finish quicker, and that helps me on day 3.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I remember that day. It was so much fun. I was just like, I am gonna run the runnables, and I was behind Nerea. Nerea was the girl that I was talking to you through all this season, that she very kindly asked me if it was okay for her to stick with me because I had a good pace and she wanted to be with me. So I said it's fine, which was very nice of her. Like I said, it's usually like, front of punch, you just kind of like, stick to someone. And what if that person wants to be, alone or just enjoy the run? But she stuck to me. And then suddenly we had a third individual in our wee team. So we're the 3 of us just running through this beautiful flat, but it was all flat, and flat is also a killer because you have to run. There's no really excuse to not to. So it was tough, but also like it was nice to have company because you kind of like chatting, even though if you're not chatting, you just know that they are there. Yeah. So I don't know if you felt it that way, but I felt like it helps sometimes to have company. When I want the company, it's really nice to have that company with you.
Yeah, it's a really good motivator. And with you, like literally the half marathon, the first half went so quickly. And even when we moved on to because there was a little bit of salt flats on that day, wasn't there?
Yeah,
and
I think so. And then it was the sand where we lost breath.
Yeah, where you just carried on. And I was like looking at you in the distance thinking,
I was like, Brad, come on. You're like, just keep going without me. I'll be okay. And I'm like,
yeah, that was it.
Brad.
Yeah. Don't leave me. But that's why I think, that day I felt really good from the run at the start. And as I said, my bag was now light enough to actually make a good pace. And I didn't have to worry about, this bag is weighing me down. And it was a little bit better. So,
That was so funny. And the second day we had a little bit June. Third day, I think it was that day, the big June and all that. Then 4th day is going to be our 4 marathon in a row. Like people, we are done by that day.
Did you feel by the 4th day that you were getting the hang of it? So you must have been thinking to that point, I've got 3 days out of the way. I kind of know what to expect a little bit.
Yeah, but you were scared of the long day.
That's what I was going to say. Your knees may be a bit sore, but you think to yourself, right, okay, I've got the gist of it. I kind of understand what direction this is going. Did you feel like that, or was it in your head, or?
A little bit, but not majorly. All I knew.
What day the day that we were walking together with Lisa?
That was at the start, I think.
The salt flats, yeah.
And then actually, so you guys carried on. I was just taking it slow, and then I did run in the middle section. I caught up with you just before the salt flats again, and then you left me behind again. But you're right, Andy. Yeah, I think at that point I kind of knew my strategy, and I thought, right, this is what I'm going to do. Obviously, I didn't know what to expect from the terrain. I know roughly, but I've never run.
Were you kind of saving yourself for the long day as well?
Yeah, that was in the back of my head. And there's something that you said to me at the start was don't think about like the next day, don't think about the whole race, just think about the next checkpoint.
Yeah.
So I think, right, can I make it to the next one? Well, it's like 3 miles away. Yeah, I can do 3 miles. And you get to that one, you think, can I make it to the next checkpoint? You go, that's 6 miles. Well, I can do 6 miles. And just breaking it into those chunks really did help.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was, I don't know what day was it when you came back to the tent, and that's the story I told in last episode, that you came back to the tent. You can feel the heat just coming off of Brad, because we were all like laying down and just kind of chilling. And every time the new teammate comes in, you can feel the heat from the outside is just coming in. And he just, I remember, stood in there, just standing up, and his eyes were just like, looking at at the distance, and he was just and he just said, I don't know how I'm gonna do the long day or something like that, and we had to like chit chat him. But was that the 4th day or the 3rd day?
It might have been it could have been any of the days. Could have been. I think
it was the fourth day because you're like you were very concerned about the next day.
I actually wasn't going to start day 5. That was my mind. I finished day 4 and my ankles were ruined from the salt flats, and they was in pain. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can start tomorrow, knowing that you've got 45 miles. Was it 45 miles?
Yeah, 70 kilometers.
Yeah, and I think a few people sort of saw it in my face, but it was really nice having people sort of pat me on the back and go, yeah, we're going to do it. And I did promise myself before I started, I said, you need to start every day. Like, it doesn't matter what happens on that day. It doesn't matter if you tap out after 10 minutes or an hour. Just start every day.
I love that. That's a good kind of thinking. That's a good plan. I always tell people that go into a race with a plan, but like that sort of plan, like an exit plan, but like it's not an exit plan. It's just like, I'm going to go through these things before I pull the plug. So I said, I am in my head for me was I need to
not be hungry.
I need to rest, and I don't need to be hot because I know obviously it was good. You know, I didn't want to make a decision, a stupid decision in when you are tired or when you're hungry or when you were hot. Same thing as you did. And I think that was a very smart, like, I am going to start every day. And for me, it was the same. I am not going to tap out if I am hungry, I'm hot, or what?
Hungry, hot.
Tired.
Tired.
I'm tired. I was like, I will take a time. I'll sit down, rest or whatever, and then I'll keep going. So I think that's a very smart strategy. You can take notes from that.
What was the mood in the camp at that point when you got back? How did you feel? Because
he always asks me that.
Yeah, I'm always interested because
I think you need to go.
Well, do you know what it is? I think that some listeners on these things obviously want to go out and do the race, so they're interested in hearing things about the terrain and how to feel and what it felt like actually being out there. But I think a lot of people are nervous to go and do it because they don't know what to expect from other people. Does that make sense? Whereas we all know that the trail running community and the ultra running community are amazing people, but I think some people, to get them over the line, they love to hear what the mood of the camp's like, you know? So how did it feel when you came back that night in the mood of the camp and you...
Yeah, it was, the thing is, everyone is weirdly super positive. I felt like I was the most negative person there because in your own head, you're criticising yourself and you're doubting yourself, but every single person, and this is something that I actually said in like my thing was, every single person wants to see you finish the race. Like, it doesn't matter like where they're from, what country they're from. They just want you to finish. They just want, how are you doing? And there was Jamie. You remember Jamie, the big guy, Tanya, from the UK? He was my roommate at the start.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was like, he was like, mate, you're gonna do this. And I was, I don't know if I'm gonna start tomorrow. He's like, you are. And even he said, I had a really tough day. And when you see these people who are quite experienced, I think he'd done the 4 deserts. He was having a tough day. Yeah. That's quite reassuring. But everyone is really nice and really supportive, and that's what made it for me.
That is funny.
I think that's really good for people to hear as well, that people that are experienced still say those things as well, you know? Not
even during the race, remember in the last episode, I had the exact same comment in the long day. I exploded in a million pieces in the long day. And there was this lady from the US catch me, and she was in my head, she looked always so strong and super fast, and she started catching me, and she was struggling so bad. We stick together, but she was struggling, and that gives not that you feel good that she's struggling, but like you said, it's like it kind of makes you realize that you're like, okay, I think everyone's in the same boat, and they still moving, so I don't have any excuse to not keep moving. So everyone's hurt here.
Vicky was the oldest lady doing it, and I thought if Vicky, who's in her 70s, is still doing it, I'm not stopping. Like, I'm just carrying on.
Yeah. Vicky, everyone is loving
she's so
Vicky.
inspirational, isn't she? I mean, you've said that a number of times.
Last episode, again, I had a whole Vicky was my absolute hero, and she was in my head all the time. And sometimes even during life things, I'm like, Vicky can definitely do this, you know?
So you're now about to start the long march, yeah? Is that right?
Yes, we are about to go enter 70 kilometers.
Yeah. So how did that feel at the start line?
Obviously, you started. You towed the line because we weren't. Plus, our tent, we wouldn't have allowed you not to. So,
Oh no, that would have been disgraceful.
first of all,
Dragged
would
out.
kicked your bum out of the tent. You are starting. That wouldn't happen in my tent.
So what was it feeling on the start line like? How did you feel about it?
I think, I was really nervous. But I had like a little mini plan, which was I spoke to Ryan in our tent, Ryan from the US, and he's a really lovely guy. And I said, Ryan, I'm just going to stay with you today, because there was a moment the day before, on day 4, where I was completely on my own through the salt flats. Right. And that's when I was closest to quitting. I was literally thinking, when I get to the next checkpoint, I'm dropping out. I obviously didn't, but like I was so close. And he said that he was on his own the day before as well. So I said, I'm going to stick with you today, mate. I don't care what pace it is, whether we're walking, whether we're running. I'm just going to stay with you the whole day. And we actually did.
Oh, wow.
So we had a really a lot of heart-to-hearts and deep conversations. But we walked out the start line together. We walked in the finish line together. So.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
I can't
brilliant.
remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember that. I think we were like probably dead when you. I don't remember when you came in.
Before me, yeah.
Yeah.
And people always say when you've got someone with you, it definitely gets you through, doesn't it?
I think sometimes for myself, I like to be alone. And sometimes when I'm in the struggling bits, I like to face them alone. Like, I don't like anyone to be cheering me, because I'm like, just shut up. Like, I am doing it's enough with my head, my loud voices.
That's very similar in the house as well, Brad.
But I understand that sometimes definitely having company helps a lot. And more so, I guess, I think maybe more so at the beginning, and then later on, that's one of my questions. Later, if you continue doing these things, I think you kind of love being alone, like that feeling of being alone, and you start like loving that feeling a little bit more, Then at the beginning, you'll probably be a little bit scared of like, oh, I don't want to be here alone. What if something happens to me? What if I can't solve this and I don't want to be alone on my own? I think that's where it comes from, that you want to be with someone, I think. So, yeah.
It's funny, Tanya and I are very different runners. She's like a machine and I'm kind of like a broken machine. But she likes to be on her own when she runs, even when we go out running together in the mountains. But actually, I've found only recently that I quite like running with people, don't I? And I like run clubs. Yeah. I actually like talking to people because it takes my mind off the mileage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why I was saying it, I think that it's quite good, because in my head and all the runs I've done, when I run with someone, I kind of almost forget I'm running. So it takes the time away quicker. So you're not as focused on the time, you're just as focused on the conversation, I guess, and getting one foot in front of the other. Is that the way you felt when you were? Yeah,
certainly. I think I'm a very similar runner to you by the sounds of things, Andy. Is that I liked all the camaraderie of it. I liked the camp. In fact, like just with like Tanya and the other guys in our tent, them saying, "Oh, we've never had people drop out of our tent." In the back of my head, I'm like, you can't do it now. You've got.
I said that in my last episode as well. In my 5 deserts, I never had anyone drop in my tent. There's people that sometimes ended up with your tent empty.
Yeah.
I was like, not in my watch, people. It's not going to happen in my last desert.
Consciously, it drives you to push a little bit further for me anyway. Yeah. But if I was to go and do 100 miles on my own, would I finish? I don't know. I might do. Depends on what the reason was. But I think just having those people around me, seeing like, oh, I'm trying to catch up to this person, or this person's behind me now, and just carrying on. But that's the same for me. Yeah.
So how was the long march overall? How did you feel? Obviously, your ankles were a little bit sore. Were they still sore, or you just got so numb that you didn't care anymore?
Yeah, that broken machine. Like, that is what I was. It was only at the long march that I realised that some of the doctors would give out some painkillers if you nudged them slightly. And so I think we got to literally the last checkpoint, and the doctor was like, "Are you okay?" And I was just shaking from like my legs were in so much pain. I was like, "Please, do you have anything to take the edge off?" And he just gave me like a couple of Tylenol. And for the next 20 minutes, I felt like I could run. I was like, "This is great!" Like, I don't know why I haven't
backfires.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, but then after 20 minutes, it wears off, and then like this twinge starts coming back in my leg, and my back starts aching again, and it it was just such an experience, like the whole day.
I love that you're saying all this with a smile on your face.
In fact,
Yeah.
I have a great question for you, right? So you were talking about the pain in your legs and the pain in your back and the pain at the end of the runs on each day and stuff like that. Are you one of the runners that embraces the pain and loves it and thinks that that's like one of the best parts of the running? Or is it just a side note to the fact that you have to get it done?
Yeah, I think, do I love it? I wasn't loving it at the time, but I think for me, it's not like the pain, it's like overcoming it kind of thing. Like, so when I got to the end of that day, I feel like, wow, I've got through all this stuff that I've and then the pain that I felt.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, after the race, after the run or the stage, you feel like you've really achieved something.
Yeah.
But it is, for me, it is a little bit unpleasant during the thing, but there's that slight sort of sadistic part of me that you think, oh, this is actually, I'm really living. I'm really, really feeling everything.
You're pushing it to the edge.
It's like, you just mentioned the keyword, you're alive. I feel alive every time obviously, apart from the feeling like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. It's just that reminder of you are alive and you're just living this crazy and then you're doing something absolutely, out of this world.
Something for me was the whole comfort thing was, I was listening to a few things recently and they were saying about people are really comfortable these days. People don't push themselves outside of the comfort zone. And so that's what this race was for me, was really getting outside, because you don't grow inside that comfort zone. If you're outside of it, you're growing and you're developing, and it's obviously going to be really unpleasant, but that for me was a major part of it, was not being comfortable.
Absolutely. I think we share that then, because I think that's my same feeling.
Yeah. Now, I know we've not quite hit the last day yet, but this is a question for you. Would you do it again?
Oh, that's like, well, okay.
Would you do it again? Would you do like Atacama again, for example? Or
of course he is.
Well, I'm finished.
Yeah, probably would.
Yeah. And is that because you've caught the bug for doing those kind of distances unsupported, or is it another reason?
Yeah, I think because I had a really overall good experience. There's the individual moments that are really unpleasant and really I'd rather forget. But I think overall, as you said, like with the people and the camaraderie, the people in the tent, that just for me, it was just a really wonderful achievement for me. Yeah. Having like my girlfriend came down to support me. And so she got to see me at the finish line. So that was just, I would do it again, definitely.
There you go, Andy.
I don't know when or why.
There you go, Andy.
I've actually said before that I've never met an ultra runner that's only done one. There's never been one. I know we speak to a lot, and there's never seems to be one. It's like, back. And there's that moment of when they get to the end of the race, they've got that race depression where they think, right, okay, I'm not going to do another one, and then like the next day they say, right, so what am I looking at? They find themselves on the internet looking for the next ultra, the next big challenge.
Literally within a week, I'd done the same, because the Greece race is in September, and I was like, oh, do you know it'd be really great is to do like a marathon in Greece, and I was like, what a shame it's this September, where I said I wasn't, because of the house and stuff, I wasn't going to do anything else this year. So actually, I think if I didn't have the house on and we wasn't moving or whatever, I probably might have signed up to it. So
I guess we have a new challenge. What are you doing next?
I've got nothing planned officially, but I've got there's a company called Rat Race. They do quite a lot of ultra type ones in the UK. There is one, it's called The Wall, which follows the route of Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, yeah, the Wall.
Which is 70 miles, and I think you get 26 hours to do it. And funny enough, there's a lady's husband at work, and he got 5 miles before the end and had to pull out because he was hallucinating. And I don't know why, I was just like, oh yeah, this sounds like a really good race to do.
All right, so so you definitely went to the dark side now. Welcome. Welcome to the dark side. And well, I'm going to go back to the beginning a little bit, just because obviously you finished it, you accomplished it. What background did you have in the sport though? How long it took you to get ready for it? Were you a runner before? Were you just doing gym before? Like what's your background?
Yeah, so mainly I had done running before. I'd done a marathon before. I'd done quite a few half marathons. And I've done a few of the obstacle, like mud runs, Tough Mudder, nuclear races. So I was used to running, and especially like a marathon distance. I was used to training for that. I was primarily weightlifting in the gym, but I think it was I started my running training like a year before Racing the Planet. But that's when I was already starting from a base level of fitness.
Yes,
so
that's what I wanted to. Okay.
I wasn't starting from zero. I was starting already feeling pretty fit, but the whole year was focusing on that running, getting the endurance in the legs, and practicing everything.
Yeah. So how did you obviously when you were practicing or preparing for the race? What did you use did you have a coach, or how did you know what to pack? Is there things that you've seen online or you read about them? Like how was that preparation? Obviously, because it was the first time you were doing something like this.
Yeah. So I used, I had a person I know through work who's a running coach, and he's an ultra runner, triathlon, person who does a lot of triathlete. So he was really experienced. So he put together a plan for me, and we used this interactive app where he could, set me different runs, different lengths, and all that sort of thing. So I was doing that. I had a nutritionist who I think I set her an impossible task, because I said, I need you to find out how much I can eat per day, blah, 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 and leave it to her. But the amount of food she was saying you need to eat,
you can't.
I couldn't carry it, even half of it.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh, but you need to be rested. You need to recover." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't think people are taking this much food." And even I took too much after cutting a lot. So I tried to have it. I had had a nutritionist, had a physio. So I tried to have everything where I could. But there was a lot of. I followed the Racing the Planet online advice and those articles. So I watched a few videos, read quite a lot.
Right. Yeah, that is true. This is the second time I hear about people really saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to a nutritionist," and the nutritionist give them too much food and they end up dumping half of it. Yeah. And it's obviously the nutritionist wants to protect you and give you what by the book.
They're using a formula. They're using a formula to get you the nutrition you need.
In reality, people, we starve out there. Yeah. It's pretty much a starvation. Like and Brad and I, we are heavy athletes, not like fat, but we're heavy athletes. We're very muscle. Yeah, a lot of muscle. We're very, we're not very light in our feet, and we're burning. Our machines need a crazy amount of food to be carried us through all this distance. And that's where the tricky part gets. You need to find the balance, like Brad find out, in right food, not too much, just enough to make you survive, but not to bunk. But yes, enough so you don't have to be carrying tons of weight. Yeah. But I mean, we were burning, I think in the last day's race, I added up all our calories, and I think we burned up around 35 to 38,000 calories the whole week. And I barely ate 14,000. And I know, because I have to carry it. I counted. Everything is in the paper. And I think and in this race, I went with the bare minimum, the minimum that the race requires, which is 14,000. And I just went with my 14,000, which it was fine. But, we burn a lot of calories, and it was crazy. Yeah. And then I go, but I don't know your experience, but I will be interested to ask Aman. I come back and I gain weight, 2 or 3 kilos up. Tell me, how is that possible? I don't know, but that happens.
During the race, you gained weight.
After I come back, I get, put myself, in the formula, speaking about nutritionists and all that, how they give you the formula of eat less, move more. I was like, yeah, that really doesn't really happen in real life because I pretty much ate nothing. We moved a lot in that week, and I gained 2 to 3 kilos per race. It's insane.
Yeah, but apparently Atacama came back and said that there's a lot less small animals knocking about Atacama anymore because Danny ate them all.
Behind the rock.
There's a few species that have gone extinct now.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know, what was your experience in that department? Did you weigh it yourself just for the...
Yeah, I lost 2 kilos that week.
Did you?
Guys.
That week, I literally got back and I looked at myself in the mirror. I noticed I was considerably leaner. And then I got on the scales and I was the lightest I'd been in quite some time. I thought, I've lost literally 2 kilos in a week. And I was like...
Because and you probably burn a lot of muscle because Brad was like a very like muscular. I would say like your muscles were gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
You can just feel your body like eating itself.
Yeah. Now imagine going through that, and then you have 4 weeks, and then you have to go and do the next one. So your body ends up in a beat up, state after 5 deserts. And that's the other thing I remember Brad saying, there is no way I will do another one in 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the pictures of your stress hump, and I was like, that's not right.
I don't think it's healthy at all. Yeah, but we're like in the camp, and Lisa and I were like, well, you have 4 weeks, so you have the next one in 4 weeks. And you're like, you guys are insane. How you guys are doing 5, like back to back. Like, and that's when you said, I will take me 6 weeks 6 months just to recover. So yeah, definitely the body's, it's good that you put that. So you definitely also kind of suffered a little bit of trauma in that department.
I think it's quite interesting, a point that you made as well about when Tanya asked the question about the prep for it.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to find things out there about that sort of distance and that long distance running, isn't it? And especially when it's like the race in the planet, where what you've got is you have to carry your own gear and everything like that. Everything out there. And it's actually part of the reason why we started the podcast is we couldn't find a thing about it. So how do you prepare for it without that? So there is a lot of guesswork, I think, and you probably found the same, I would think, did you?
Yeah, definitely. I think the sport is becoming more and more like, not mainstream. I don't think it's mainstream, but there's more information now, I think, than there was before. Yeah. And obviously lots of people that are writing articles and stuff like that. But yeah, the good thing was that Racing the Planet did give give those articles from like professionals, from professional athletes. So they kind of, without having to trawl through loads of different, sites and stuff, you go straight to it.
But that's good that's why, like Andy was saying, we started this podcast just to kind of document, what's, and really that's why also we bring someone from all the different, types of, and new person, and someone that did it for the first time, someone that has done it multiple times, or, so just kind of sharing that insight. And just to almost finish, just because that's why we started the podcast, is there something you would like to say, let's say, to people that want to do these kind of challenges? Not like particularly this one, but just something, out of their way, out of their comfort zone, like you did. Is there something you would tell them, like an advice?
Yeah, I would definitely say do it. I'd say, don't wait, do it, but just be prepared. In all senses of the word, just be prepared for the pain and the effort that it's going to take. But like the feeling you'll get afterwards, and I'm sure this has been said before, but there'll be no greater feeling of achievement knowing that you've done that yourself. You've got yourself to the end.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I know the feeling. I don't know. You have to listen to the previous podcast, but I was like crying my eyes out here. Because I remember the last day. So I was just like crying, like absolutely cry.
You had the flag and everything, and you were crying, and
Yeah, I was crying too much. Well, I remember the last day we walked through the whole stages, and definitely that feeling that you were saying. It's just absolutely like someone has to feel that feeling once in their life. That like absolutely proud of yourself. And the funniest thing or the cutest thing was that Brad's girlfriend was at the end of the long march. I mean, that's motivation, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
You needed to get to the end.
Oh, when she came to the camp, yeah.
Yeah, she was there at the camp.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cute.
Yeah, that is
my
cool.
parents went to Namibia, and that was my first one. Probably the same sort of kind of, thoughts that you had. Because day 2, I was like, I'm not going to survive this. This is not going to happen. My back was super heavy. Same mistakes. Mm-hmm. It was my first one. So 50 degrees. I was like, I'm not going to survive. But I was like, but my family's at the end of long day. They are on their way here. They're taking 3 days to go there. Like they cannot just go down from the plane and realize like, oh, Tanya just pulled the plug. Like DNF. I cannot, DNF. Like I can't do that to them. So it's definitely... It was a good motivation, I think, to have someone at the end of the long day.
Yeah, that your family's going to be okay, even if you did pull out. But then you've got to say to yourself, what I found was like, am I going to be okay with it?
Exactly.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
I think that's the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
as well.
So, yeah, she was there and then she walks in. She's gorgeous. But she's like super clean. She smelled super nice. And we were all like, what's the name of that bird?
Oh yeah, I want to hang about with you.
And we're like,
Can I smell you?
she smells clean.
Anya was peeking through the tent, like flap, like looking, like as we was talking, me and Justin were talking. You're like, I saw you looking at me through the tent.
We were all like in the tent, like, she arrived, she arrived. No, it's just like we family, you know?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, she's here. And they were like, ah.
Love
and
it.
then
Love
she
it.
was there. And then he was too probably scared to introduce us to her because we were all stinky and it looked terrible.
Probably been trying to find food on her.
What's the thing that I asked you, Brad? Tell her to bring food.
Yeah, that got lost in translation because she didn't bring anything.
You
So
didn't bring food. I was like, Brad, why would you bring an outsider and not bring food?
you was hoping for, like, you were talking about, oh yeah, we're going to get chocolate, we're going to get crisps, and I was thinking, no, you ain't.
No.
Oh.
I think that pushed me through the last like half of this long stage. It's like tomorrow's Brad girlfriend's gonna be here with crisps, and
Pancakes.
chocolate, and pancake.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
No.
There was nothing. No. But she was lovely, and we had a chance to kind of like chat with her, and it was just so funny, just to, I don't know, have someone that is just looks clean and washed, and it's a funny contrast.
Yeah. Because everyone else is kind of wandering around, like zombies.
It's a different feeling of like, oh, you're coming from the outside.
Yeah.
What's happening in the world out there?
Yeah.
You know?
What is it
Everyone's
like?
got, like, injuries, everyone's limping around, everyone's burnt. Oh yeah, it was horrific.
What does sorry again? What was her name? I forgot.
Justine.
Justine. What did she say after the scenes that she's seen?
I mean, we loved you guys for a start. Like, she really enjoyed meeting you guys, so that was really nice. But she was just, when she came that day, she got a bit upset because I think it just fully hit her, like, what the race was.
Yeah.
Like,
Aw.
yeah, and we was just, because we sat off to the side near the friends and family tent, and it was such a big thing that we'd been talking about for a whole year, and like, it'd been pretty much most of our conversations, and obviously I've been training for it, and just the whole lead up to it, and it was like, tomorrow's the last day, and I was like, wow. Yeah.
Emotional.
Yeah, it really was. But, it was just like, I knew after getting through the long march, I was like, because I think the last day was longer, wasn't it, than normal?
Yep.
Very long.
20K.
20K is a lot.
Oh, it's only going to be 6 miles. And I thought, oh, good. And then at the start, they're like, oh, it's going to be 11 miles. And then I was thinking, so I've got to do the long march and then got to do a half marathon, like the day after.
That was a little bit. It's not usually like that, but yeah.
That was a nasty surprise. But I'm glad Justine didn't try to run the last day now, because I don't think she would have done that.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, too bad I cannot join you in the short trots because it's half a marathon." Yeah, it's still horrible. And I was like, half marathon where I was like you with the realization of what a year I had. And like I was saying, I was just longer even for me to be crying for half a day, all day. I was crying the whole day, the whole time. I was just like you were saying, just it's an emotional ride. And yeah, again, I think it's something that you have to live definitely once. And another question I want to ask you is, what is it, obviously when you're around there in your multiple days wandering in the desert, you have the craziest thoughts. And you start thinking about, I don't know, everything and nothing. What is the craziest thought that crossed your mind?
Craziest thought? I don't know. I kind of one day I pictured myself getting like airlifted out of the race, like a helicopter. I don't know where that came from, but I thought this ground is like, I think, or it might be the salt flats where you can't access it by car, can you? Like one of the checkpoints they had to carry in by horse, and I'm thinking, if I stop here, like, how are they going to get to me? Like, I'm just going to be crumpled in the salt flats. Like, they're going to have to get a helicopter to lift me out or something like that. But
and you start like doing these crazy scenarios in your brain.
Yeah. You think. I was thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I just, that's why day 4 was my toughest day. I was like, trying to get through all that. And
I love that.
In the past, when Tanya comes back from one of those races, I need to be careful because I know I either need to paint something in the house or tile something in the house or do something somewhere. But yeah.
you're like, oh, I should have done this. Yeah.
Yeah, how like all the crazy ideas just happen where I'm, like, oh, I should do this, or I should do that. Or, you
move the stairs.
Yeah, it's just, so Brad is there in the middle of nowhere thinking I should be airlifted right now.
Brilliant.
I was with my thoughts of like, I will have chocolate because Justine is going to bring chocolate. So,
she's never going to let you live that down.
We all,
I had the last day, but yeah.
I was like, Brad, where is my crisps? Doritos. It was Doritos.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was craving Doritos.
Salt.
Anything.
And the salt, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was so lovely to meet you. And we're going to end up with the last question.
We have the last question.
Yeah.
And we ask all our guests this. So, from running, and it doesn't need to be in Atacama, but from your running experience, what is the funniest story that you can tell us that you've experienced being out there as a runner?
So, I mean, as you mentioned sort of before, it is going to relate to toilet-related activities.
The listeners love it. Love it.
Honestly, the things you persuade yourself. So I was doing, I think it was one of my longer runs, like 3-4 hours, got up, had breakfast, quite a big breakfast, and then started the run. I think I'm about 2.5 hours into it. And, I need to go to the loo. And I'm running down this like country track, and I'm like looking around, and I'm worried about cars that are going to come down because it's like you can drive down it. And I'm thinking, where am I going to go to the toilet? And I thought, I'm going to have to go behind a tree. Like I'm going to have to. And I'm going to think. Then I was thinking, well, you're going to have to get used to this on the race because you're going to be doing this all the time in the race with people watching. So you're going to have to get used to it. The problem being is I didn't have any toilet paper or anything. But what I did have was a towel. So I ended up going to the toilet behind a tree using a towel. And then I looked at it and I was like, I can't put that back in my bag. So I ended up throwing it into a bush.
Oh, no, littering.
I felt dreadful. And I was like, I couldn't put like a towel that was going to stink into my bag and then just take
priorities.
And you could definitely not have run with anybody else on that day.
No, I was glad I was on my own.
I'm not going to say we all been there, but we all been there. It's, and that's going to teach you another lesson. Always carry toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Definitely.
Or a shovel.
Not the huge roll that I or not the huge toilet roll I took on the
toilet paper in a Ziploc bag. That is always in my backpack.
Top tip.
Yes, top tip. Definitely. So that's the best advice you can give to everyone, Brad.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's important advice, I think.
That goes to top of the do it, but just carry toilet paper. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Brad. It was so nice to see you, to remember crazy times out there in the Atacama sunshine. Did you get burned, by the way?
I done okay, actually. I was
okay.
I was really heavy on the Factor 50. I used like the I can't remember what brand it was, but it was really, really good. I had the long sleeves, didn't I? So I used like a UV long sleeve top. So
you did good, because I seen some nasty burns and I burned my face as well in Atacama. So I didn't burn in any other deserts, just in this one really badly. So well done you. All right, you'll have to pass us your SPF for the next one. And well, thank you so much. It was so nice to share again adventures, and hopefully we'll see you soon in another crazy adventure. And thank you everyone for watching and for listening, and see you all next week. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.